Now, practically speaking, it would be a great help when you chant it to fix your attention in the ajna and chant it. Why? Because normally we are conditioned to think that we are the body. Theoretically, you may say, yeah, you're right, but we are conditioned to think we are the body. The moment we are out of this satsang, we are still different, independent beings. Good, you should be independent, I agree, I understand. But to experience that, we need to decondition ourselves from the feeling that we are this. Swami Vivekananda used a beautiful word. He said, we have hypnotized ourselves into the belief that we are separate, puny, stupid individuals. He said, dehypnotize yourself. Come out of this trance and realize that you are actually a spark of the divine. He was once asked, what is the essence of all your teachings? Essence of Vedanta. He said, I can put it in few simple words. He said, every being is essentially divine. Every being is essentially divine. To manifest that divinity, either through work or through prayer or through meditation or through knowledge. This is the essence of Vedanta. And he also added, all the rest are fancy trimmings. So this is the essence of the ancient teachings of this country. And here we are sitting in Banaras, a city which has been in existence for I don't know how long. Historically they say 1,000 years, but I doubt it, much more. And when you get into Banaras, and if you are ready to get out of your prejudices, this is dirty, this is that, then you see something different in Banaras. Kashi is called the city of light. If you need to see the light, first we need to decondition ourselves. Free from all the preconceived ideas stuffed into us. Take it all out, throw it off, go and stand on the banks of the Ganga or sit if you like and watch the expanse of the river. May your mind move with it. From this little pool that we normally live in, to get into the expanse of a flowing river is a tremendous thing. So this deconditioning of the mind is a process that begins by first understanding that it is conditioned. If you don't know that if it is conditioned and carry on with life saying, oh, first we have to discover, yes, we are conditioned. Every one of us comes with a baggage, including me. Everybody comes with a baggage. And this baggage is our conditioning. Is it possible to throw the baggage? Now to throw the baggage, first you should admit that I have baggage, right? If I don't admit that I have baggage, how will I throw it away? So first thing is self-study. Now self-study doesn't mean to sit down and say, I am the Brahman, I am the Supreme. This is not, you don't know. This is what you are repeating from what somebody said. Is it possible to sit down and close your eyes and say, who am I, who am I, who am I, and find out who I am? It's a chant. It doesn't mean anything. Who am I is a discovery of what is my essence. It's not a chant. It's very funny. I was a very small boy, a man from Trivandrum, where I was born. Not a Marxist, normal man. He was a businessman, he was a contractor, construction man. So he suffered a lot of losses and he was in bad shape. So somebody told him, there is a great saint living in Tiruvannamalai. If you go there, Ramana, and take his blessings, your future is going to improve. Poor fellow didn't know what Maharshi was doing or who he was. So he went there. and he uh, went to Maharshi. There was a long queue of people going. He went to him and he said, Maharshi, I am a businessman. I have lost everything. Please bless me so that I can my business. Maharshi was quite astounded because nobody went and asked him how to improve their business and so on. So he asked him, he told him, who is suffering the loss? Find out first, who are you? The guy got so angry. He said, what is this? I have travelled all the way from Trivandrum to come to this place and you have to find out who I know who I am. My name is Bhaskar Nair. What the hell are you talking about? That's not the meaning of who I am. Who I am means how to figure out what our conditionings are, which we are born with, what is the baggage that we carry, and how to understand that once you clear this baggage, there is one innate element in us which is the same in everybody else. This is the meaning of understanding oneself. Not from day one saying, I am the Brahman. You are hypnotizing yourself to think that you are the Brahman. You are not. If you are the Brahman, would you stand near a rushing train? Because you are the Brahman. Nothing will happen. No. Yeah, ultimately you understand that. The way the Vakya is Aham Brahmasmi, agreed. But most people who say Aham Brahmasmi are filled with so much pride. I am the Brahman. That's not. See, first realize one's limitations, understand oneself, look at the prejudices we have, the conditionings we have, can we get them out? Once you get them out, then something shines in us which is the essential reality, and that essential reality is by its very nature Purna, complete. We don't know it that we are Purna because we are incomplete. We think we are. But in true essence, we are a spark of that Purna. Therefore, we are also Purna. Which is why the Upanishad said, Purnamada, Purnamidam. This is also Purna. But at the moment, because of this baggage that we carry, these differences that we have, these conditionings that we have, we don't realize that we are actually that Purna, which is also this Purna. Completeness. And not knowing this, we try to complete it through doing various things, gathering things. When the Upanishad says, Tena tyaktena bhunjita, let go and rejoice. But we won't let go. I won't let go many things. Not me. Imaginary person I'm talking about. This person died long ago. But I'm not ready to throw away anything. And in that, I want to become the Supreme Being. Not possible. So, we have today discussed the Mahamrityunjaya mantra. So if you understand this and carefully look at it, try to figure out how to get there, then you are free of death. You see your immortal essence, which is the supreme reality. And when that happens, the first thing that happens is not that your pride increases or that you are able to fly in the air. That's not what happens. Fly in the air, you don't have to have a siddhi now, there are aeroplanes. What happens actually is the heart expands. When I say the heart expands, not the organ that pumps blood. Your attitude, you're looking at things expands. You're no more in a narrow, confined, selfish little thing. You grow. This is what. And that expansion is called affection, love, whatever you want to call it. I generally don't use the word love because it's such a much bandied about word which people say but don't know what they're talking about. Also people who see me and say, oh, I love you. I say, relax. That affection does not distinguish between you and me. It doesn't think of someone as separate from you. That is what you might call a holistic love. And that happens when one realizes that actually, in true essence, one is not different from others. Externally, yes. The great weaver saint who lived in Banaras, called Kabir Das, put it very beautifully when he said, "Jadhar premana sanchare, sodhar jaan smashan, jaise khal lohar ki saans le to bin pran." Which means that heart which does not have affection, love, even in a lower way, doesn't matter, is like the bellows of a blacksmith. Nowadays they don't have it, but olden days when they had to make the fire, the blacksmith had the bellows which you keep pressing and the air comes through. Kabir said, a man who doesn't have affection in his heart, is his mind, his heart, his body is like the bellows of a blacksmith. It also moves. It breathes. But there is no pran there. Saans le to bin pran. So that pran is the pran that is hidden in all of us. Suppose I know it and you don't know it, it means nothing. Because if I know it, I also know it's in you. Therefore, when I see you, you may not have seen it. So what? Who cares? I see it. And when this happens in a human being, anyone who comes in contact with such a human being feels that there is something different. We don't know what, we can't put our finger on it, but it's something. Some people, when you're eating, they sit and stare. We don't know why they stare, God knows, but there's something going on. It's quite close to ordinary love, but it is not that, it's more than that. Even in ordinary love, nobody knows what it means. Well, you can explain it, say it's hormonal, but really nobody knows what it means. Two young people standing in a bus stop and staring at each other for an hour. What's happening? We don't know. Ask them, कुछ होता है मगर क्या होता है? What's happening? That's a very small example of that which is infinite. So you can imagine what that's going to be when you touch that. Having said this, I rest my case.